I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And I think that is when things completely change. And I call it a happy accident. So I think that when life hits you, it's so important before you just freak out and be like, this is not the plan. Yeah, it's not the plan, but let's figure it out. Like, what can we do with what we have?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of B3 LeadHers. Now, we first kicked off this podcast in March during Women's History Month as a celebration for the bold, brilliant women shaping marketing, AI, and tech and analytics. The LeadHer podcast strives to go beyond the highlight reels to dive deep into the pivotal decisions, the lessons learned, and the cheat codes that have propelled top female leaders forward. And today I am thrilled to be your host. I am Barika Phillips Bell, one of the co-founders of B3 Media Solutions, and we are continuing our LeadHers journey with an incredible guest and my personal friend. She is a best-selling author, speaker, DEI champion, and founder of Ezer Agency, where she is helping women business warriors around the world lead with impact over applause. Her story is all about building your own table when the system wasn't designed for you and making room for others to win alongside you. So please help me welcome my powerhouse friend in purpose, brand strategy, and unapologetic authenticity, Altimese Curry.
So thank you for having me, Barika. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you on the show. So, Altimese, you are my dynamic duo award winner. We are Rosie. We go back
Yes.
a very long time with projects. Please tell us about yourself, like what you're up to, what you're doing, your agency. I want to hear it all.
Yes. So the Ezer Agency, we are um, MBE certified. We are also women-owned certified. We are trademarked, prepared to be trademarked twice, which is great. We also, at this point, we are industry agnostic and we work with everyone from entrepreneur level to small business owners, even enterprise and government contracting. So, so thrilled. This is our first year with a multi-year government contract, which is great. And it is on the state level, which is awesome. So yeah, we're doing great. It is a lot. It's a lot of work, a lot of moving pieces. I really truly believe that probably the hardest part of building a business is building your team and getting the best people connected to your team that can help fulfill the vision forward. But that's a part of business. That's a part of the learning process. So yeah, everything is great, and I'm extremely grateful to be here in this very moment with you right now.
Well, I'm extremely glad to have you. And I think one of the reasons why I thought it was important to talk to a business owner like yourself is because you're a mom.
Yeah.
You're a daughter, you're an entrepreneur, you have so much on your plate. And for women that are kind of like struggling with, like, I have so many things that are pulling at you, so many projects that
Yeah.
you really have to like get over the line that are in your head and people that you have to deal with. Sometimes you just want to talk and hear from someone that has like that knowledge. And I thought that it would be a really cool opportunity to kind of like sit and pick your brain and talk about your journey and some of the things that you've done in your life. So,
Yes,
how's your
absolutely.
baby? How's Izzy?
Oh my God, she's great, and she's literally right next to me. I will say this: um, we have learned it is work-life harmony. So I stopped trying to separate parts of my life, and I have learned to create harmony with all parts of my life. So if I'm working, it's okay for her to be there. You know what I mean? Like, if there's a vacation, I honestly try to make vacations around places I'm going for work. You know what I'm saying? Like, so where it's more harmonious rather than feeling like you have to choose between one or the other. Have it all.
I love that. Like, I feel like at a lot of times as a working mother, especially with your own business and you're building it, and we're small business owners, I feel torn so much about, like, I'm on the computer. Like, if my daughter was to, like, parody me, she'd be like, Mommy, I'm on the computer. Like, I do social
Yes,
media." Like, literally, this is what she does to
yes.
me. And I feel
And
so torn sometimes about that. And I know we've talked about that before because
yeah,
it's kind of like, but I love the idea of harmony. Because yeah, it is okay. She knows that mommy has a her own business and that I work for myself and I have clients and it's okay.
and it's also teaching them that they can too.
That can too. No, and I definitely love the fact that we can kind of like give them that like mommy did it. I can have my own business too. I can work for myself. I can create my own table, as you say.
Right. That's right.
So, Altimese, we start each episode asking our guests, what is the one decision that changed everything for you? Now, this can be like the moment where you
Mm.
took a risk, you can make a pivot, or you just had a career breakthrough that shaped where you are today. For you, what would you say is that?
Oh my gosh. So this was not by choice. It was a layoff. I was in corporate America. I honestly had no intention of being a full-time entrepreneur. I started my business in 2016, but it was meant to be for supplemental income, right? It was meant to be a side hustle, a strong side hustle, but a side hustle at that, right? So, um, I had no intentions of leaving corporate America. I wanted to grow within it. And one day I went in at 9, was called into my supervisor's office at 10, and by 11 o'clock, I was at my house with a box of all of my things from the 10 plus years I had been in corporate America. And we live out in Hilton Head out here. There's literally nothing out here outside of tourism. So I moved my family here for this job, and I was like, what in the world am I going to do? And it actually was, I have to give him the credit for this. My ex-husband, he was the one to be like, hey, instead of trying to get another seat at a table that wasn't even created for you, build your own. You got this thing over here, like, see what happened, right? And the very next day I went to a networking event in Savannah. And it just took off from there. I haven't looked back since. So I would definitely say sometimes life gives you really big curveballs, like things that you are just not expecting at all. And it's in how we respond to those moments that determines how how the next steps, the next phases in our life, how they shape it, right? Because you can't control that. I couldn't control the layoff. I
Mhm.
couldn't control the reality that I was laid off. My daughter was like 1, she had just turned 1, and I was primary, breadwinner in the house by default in terms of just how our finances were structured. So it was scary, but
Yeah.
I chose to, like, I was like, okay, well, if I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And I think that is when things completely change, and I call it a happy accident. So I think that when life hits you, it's so important before you just freak out and be like, this is not the plan. Yeah, it's not the plan, but let's figure it out. Like, what can we do with what we have? Right? And how can we make something that could be seen as really bad for our good?
I mean, what do you do when you get laid off like that? It's just like that
Girl,
that is
with
a
2 weeks severance pay, okay? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. That's
that's
it.
yeah. Yeah. No, like when that happens, so like your story is very similar to mine. It is like we had started our company in 2014 and it was to work with like authors and small businesses because I was deep into social. Authors needed social to promote their books. And so, like you, 3 years later, my company decided to get rid of social media altogether and just focus on that. And so it was our client that actually that like approached us and said, go big or go home, like, make this into a real business and we'll continue to work with you. And like by the grace of God, we're still working with them, still doing it. So it's just like you're right. It's a happy
I
accident.
love it.
So before you like, throw your hands up, all is lost, what can this create? Like, what can I create from this? What do I have? So
Yeah,
I love how you have taken that and flourished and made a business that not only can your daughter be proud of, but also the clients that you work with are proud and love working with you. So, and even as your colleague, I love working with you.
it's so mutual. And I think, the key is relationships. It's relationships for sure.
Yeah.
Like everything in life is about relationships. And when people say business is just business, y'all, they're no, not
Lies.
true.
Not true.
Not true. Where when they say business isn't personal, yes it is. Yes it is.
Business is always personal.
It's always personal. Don't believe it. Yes it is.
Okay, so now I'm gonna flip the script and we're gonna go to the other side because I think that embracing bold moves opens doors. So no journey to me is ever a straight path. It's always cr- nooks, crannies, hills, valleys, all of that. So if you could go back and do something completely different, whether it was a decision, a leadership approach, or even a project, what is something that you wouldn't do again? And this is the segment for what I wouldn't do again.
So I was very young in my career. Okay. So I was very young. I want to say this was like the first time I was becoming a people manager. And I was super excited. Again, I was young. So, that was a big deal for me. I was still in corporate America. This was not in my agency, although I do have one for my agency as well. Um, and I was getting my first new hire, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, right? The SVP had not disclosed any of this to the team. So no one knew I was getting a new hire. No one knew any of this, but it was literally maybe 2 weeks out from her start date, right? And for some reason, I was like, why hasn't he shared anything? It's fine, right? We had a team dinner that did not include the SVP. So that's the key. Did not include the SVP. It was just like impromptu, hey, you guys want to go get something to eat? Let's all go grab something to eat. My spirit was like, you should not go. And I went anyway. And one of the directors, she didn't have a great day. It was as if she was poking people the whole dinner. Like she was poking. And she got to me and she was like, Altimese, if you care about your career, you should speak up more for yourself. You don't do da 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 da. Like went down a list, right? And I'm sitting here listening to her, knowing this information. And as she's going through and she's like, well, what's your next move? Like, what's your plan? What are you planning to do? And I was like, I'm planning to grow in my career. Mind you, this is in front of everybody. This is at a team dinner. So, and she goes, well, how are you planning to do that? And I said, well, I'm getting my first employee in like 2 weeks. And the entire table got silent. Everybody just kind of stopped and looked at me and then looked at her. And she said, well, I didn't hear anything about that. And I said, don't know why not. And then she completely like ended the dinner.
Oh my
And I
goodness.
went to my car and I cried for
Oh
about 10 minutes. I just sat there and cried because I was like, I knew I wasn't supposed to come. Like something in me was like, you shouldn't go. And my new hire started. No one said anything, right? There's this like elephant in the room. She started, no one said anything, right? Maybe 2 to 3 weeks after she started, the SVP called me into his home and he was like, "Come in." And at the time, I wasn't married, so he was like, "Come in, Miss Hamlin." He was like, "We got to talk." So I come in, and he's one of my mentors, and I was like, I know you heard what happened." And he was like, "Yeah." He was like, "I heard." He was like, "And listen," he was like, "It's fine. It's all fine." He said, "However," he said, "remember, we play the game of chess, not checkers." He said, "So what should have been done is you should have let her say whatever her piece was. Let her say her piece. Checkmate would be your new hire walking in. That's chess."
Mm.
Because you don't have to always, he said, the confident people are not the loudest in the room. So you don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to, because the things you do, you showing up, that is proof enough.
Mm.
And I would most definitely go back and not feel obligated to go to that team dinner, especially one that was like an unofficial team dinner. That was not one that was official. She just said, "Hey, let's all go to dinner." And you play the game of politics when you're in corporate America, and those are the things that you
Have to
are
deal with.
expected to show up. Yeah, you are expected to show up to. So, you know, I would definitely I would have played the game of chess and not checkers in that scenario, because shortly after that I left. But the person who stayed was my new hire, my employee, and they never accepted her. They never, and she was there for years, and she was never fully accepted. They did not include her in a lot of things because of what transpired. It was as if she paid for my
Your
mishap.
son.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it was very unfair to her. It was very unfair to her because they didn't even give her a chance to get to know who she was and the value that she brought to the team, which obviously was tremendous because she was with that team for years and grew into a publicist on that team and was amazing. And to this day, she is rocking it. Like, so, you know, they just didn't give her that opportunity. So I would have definitely changed it.
Mm. I hear 2 things in just what you were saying, because, yes, if you are playing chess in the game of business, don't pull out your checkerboard because you gonna lose every time because they see the moves every time. But I think that the other part of that is trusting your gut as a woman
Yes,
and, as a
yes.
spiritual person, like, I love that because there's been so many times when I've gone against my better judgment and did something and regretted it, because we are intuitive creatures, and if you feel something, you need to act upon that feeling and, like, trust it. But I realize, as we are growing individuals, you don't know that all the time. It takes, like, sometimes it takes some time to kind of like really come into that knowledge and really understand that about ourselves. But
Yeah,
I realize, as we are growing individuals, you don't know that all the time. It takes, like, sometimes it takes some time to kind of like really come into that knowledge and really understand that about ourselves. So I hear 2 different things that I think are very good points that, like, as businesswomen and as women that are growing in their careers can take from that. So my 3rd segment, which is, like, personally one of my favorites, is just the cheat codes. This is just like the down and dirty you already gave us too. But this is just the down and dirty where you actually give actionable insights. 3 actionable insights that you would give to either someone that is currently building their business, growing in corporate America and trying to understand that, or even someone that, like, like, I even like the idea of like helping like college kids and high school kids really understand like the importance of, like, they always ask like, why do I have to learn this? Why is this important? So, like, even that, like, even the discipline of schoolwork, I think is important. So if you had to give
mhm.
3 cheat codes, and they can be to different audiences, but like things that you would want to impart,
Uh,
what would they be?
Oh my gosh. First and foremost, remember that you are always representing someone. Okay. You are always representing someone, even if that person is yourself. So when you operate and you move and you post things on social media and you make comments on things on social media, which by the way, audience, ladies and possibly gentlemen, reels with friends, which is very new. So I don't know if it's going to stay, but have you experienced reels with friends, that side of the feed?
You know what? I have, and I'm not like I can I say that even though I work in social media, I don't like social media? Can I say that? Like, is that a thing?
Say
Like, I just
that. You
like,
can say that 'cause I feel you. I
because I
feel
don't
you.
like it.
100%. 100%. Because listen, okay, words with friends shows integrity or lack thereof, or if you are if you are who you say you are or not, right? So when you are always representing someone, I can't tell you how many times I have slid over to the real side of reels with friends and have seen interaction, engagement, and or comments from people I am connected with on content that I don't think they necessarily want people to see that they engaged with that content. If you understand
No,
what
I understand what you're
you
saying.
understand
No,
what I'm saying?
I get
So
what you're saying.
you get what I'm putting down. So you always have to move even if you think no one is watching. And this is where integrity comes in. You have to move in a place of integrity and mindfulness of who you may become
Mhm. And who's watching
and,
you?
and who is watching you.
Because so, we do social listening at B3. And so the level of information that I can get and that I have, like, for, marketing purposes is
Yes,
crazy. Like
yes.
it's crazy. Like geographic information, pings. Like I know where you've gone to the store, what stores you've stopped at. Like
Yes.
it is crazy.
So if you understand the magnitude of the fact that you are representing yourself and who you can become, you have no idea the direction, the path, the success, the growth. You have no idea. And that's often what happens to people when they get successful. People find in their closet things that they posted years ago, things they have said years ago. Literally, you have to move knowing you are someone. So that's number one. That is number one. Number two, treat relationships like they matter. It's not networking. It's not outreach. It's not, oh, let me, this is a part of the job. I have to go smooth or whatever. No, no. When when you are connecting with people, because in businesses are made of people. That's it. Without the people, there is no business. So remember that the relationships you build, they're paramount. Even if things do not work out, you should be able to say, I did a great job nurturing this relationship and I'm going to continue to do a great job nurturing this relationship. Not because I want something from this person, but because I care about relationships.
That's a good
And
skill. That's like for salespeople, I think that that is an amazing thing because so many people reach out to you and just be like, "Oh, can I get this? Oh, I can't. Next."
say bye.
Right.
Yes, yes. The worst thing ever. Worst thing ever. Because if I feel like I'm just a number, I'm just a transaction to you.
Right. I don't want
No.
yeah, nobody wants to feel that way, so we should make others feel that way.
Yes, yes. And even if you are, even from a mentee mentor perspective, right? Understand that if you are a mentee and you have requested someone to be your mentor and or that person has said, I want to mentor you, that mentor's time is very, very valuable.
Yeah.
You come to them prepared. You come to them ready. You come to them with questions. You come hungry to learn. You do not come thinking, oh, well, what are we talking about? Girl,
Like, you didn't this is your agenda. Like, what
you know what I'm saying? Like, do not, because that is disrespectful to the time that that mentor could be utilizing for something productive.
Mm,
And if they have said out of their mouth, yes, I am willing to mentor you, come ready, come hungry, come prepared with learning, with knowledge, so that way you can get the most out of that relationship from that aspect of mentorship, and then that person feels valued in that exchange.
yes. I love
So
that.
I would definitely say that. But relationships, above all, relationships matter. A lot of stuff for my business has been what it is because of relationships. Government contract that I won, not because I did a bid. It was because in 2021 I did a program. I did a like a business program, and I met a wonderful young woman in that program. We did the program together. We stayed in contact briefly, lost contact for a bit, and she won as a subcontractor on this bid, and they didn't have a communications lead. So they asked her, "Do you know anybody who would be great for this?" And she immediately thought of me. And that was from 2021. So I think it's so like that is the power of relationship. That is the power of genuine relationships. So when you think about when I say relationships matter, I really mean it from the core, not from the surface. So you focus and you think about just you as a human being and understanding we're doing life with other human beings, and business is about human beings, and we are making content for human beings,
Yeah.
and the business owners are human beings. Like when you put it in that perspective, like I promise you, you cannot fail. Even if the work doesn't work out, if the relationship is good,
Mhm.
it really like literally it would be like, okay, this didn't work out, but we'll figure out something else.
No. I think that what you're saying, it's uniquely human. Most of our business is word of mouth because people have gone to other companies and they need our services and they remember, "Oh, they were so good. They were so helpful. They held my hand. They did all of these things." So you're so right.
That's
For
right.
like from that
That's right.
aspect is that it's a human thing, and when we take the human out of it, that's when you have the chaos.
Yes.
What's your third
Yes.
thing?
My third thing for the cheat code would be, oh, remember you got to do your work. You got to do your work. I think we're probably the last generation that got internships for free.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? I think we are the last generation that understood that we had to put in the grind, honey. We
Mhm.
had to do the time before we got the title.
Yep.
And I actually was informed when I was in corporate America, somebody, and I think she was on the HR side, she was like, listen, she said, let me tell you, if you are getting a promotion and it's an internal move, you're doing the job before you get that promotion.
Yep.
It is very rare that you get the job if it's an internal move, unless it's like complete departments or complete role or industry shifts or something like that. But she was like, if you get a promotion in your job, it's because you've already been seen as someone who has the capacity to handle the work. For them to say that you have the capacity to handle the work, that means they've already given the work to you.
Right. Mm, that's good.
So you have got to be okay doing the
Work
work.
work I feel like a lot of the generations don't value the work as much.
Mm-mm.
Like, it's just like, "What can I do that's easy?" And I love to see young people who still value work, like their parents taught them you gotta work, and I love to see that because they will be successful.
Yes.
So I have to wrap things up. But before I go, we have to play the leader bowl.
Yes. Let's go. Let's go.
So Just to give you background around the Leader Bowl. The Leader Bowl is just one of the things where I get to pull, well, actually, you get to pull if you were here, but since you're not here, we're going to randomize it. And you never know what question you're going to get, but it's always exciting. And so you have to answer it on the spot, no prep, no second chances. It's just raw and unfiltered you. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right. So you got industry crystal ball. Now, this is a
Okay.
game where we have our guests. They have to make one bold prediction about where marketing and PR, your industry, is headed,
Mm.
communications is headed in the next 3 to 5 years. And you can't answer safe stuff. So don't like, just like a bold prediction. It has to be like something that you really see coming up.
Okay, so a bold prediction within marketing and PR is that we will, in the next, I'm going to say 3 to 5 years, probably sooner than that, we're going to have to um, differentiate ourselves from AI and our
Mm.
value of what we do because AI gets better and better. And because what AI is essentially a reflection of us. It is a mirror.
It is a
It's
mirror.
not pulling from anything except us. So the more we feed documents, presentations, interviews like this into the internet, the smarter AI gets because essentially it's just pulling from the web of what has been out there, what has been shared by humanity, right? So we're gonna have to learn, number one, how to harmonize our relationship with AI, but then also how to differentiate what we bring to the table versus how we integrate AI into what we bring to the table because it's not going anywhere. If a client can completely take AI and say, "I this is my persona, this is my client, this is," and literally at this point they can add attachments and do all these things and say, "Give me a full comprehensive plan." And AI can give a full comprehensive plan. And it's not made up stuff. It's pulling from things that experts have put in the internet. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to get more strategic, more detailed, more thorough, more in depth because the marketers are detailed, thorough, and in depth.
I agree. I've already noticed, like, we've had some clients that pushed back on AI and actually told us not to use it. They didn't want it to be used. And I'm like, well, how are you going to not use Grammarly? How are you going to not use
Yeah,
like all of the search engines
Canva.
started including it? All of the Google Suite, Microsoft,
Yeah,
like, all of these tools are embedding it in there. So it's just there. So I just find it interesting that I'm seeing enterprise level corporations send out AI updates and memorandums that they don't want their agencies like using it. And I'm like, so are we supposed to like go back to native? Because like even their own tools that they give us to use on their behalf have AI. So you're
yes.
absolutely right. Like how we are going to navigate this relationship between AI, the services, and differentiating ourselves. Because if I can just use AI, why do I need you? That is going to be a key component. And I think part of it is going to have to be with us gearing up and skilling up to understand how to best work with it and how to differentiate myself while using it.
That's absolutely right. Like we can it's to a place where we can no longer fight it.
Right.
It's not something we can fight. And the reality is it is us.
It is us.
It
Unfortunately,
is us.
beautiful, ugly, warts, scars,
All of it.
all of
All
it.
of it. So how are we marketers? How are we as professionals leveraging this tool to then help support our clients? And then how are we in this relationship with AI and the client? How are we showing up as a value add.
Yeah. If we don't show up as a value add as marketers alongside AI, that will be the end of us.
That would be it. Yes,
That
absolutely.
like
Absolutely.
that is absolutely the end of us. Well, I thank you so much, Altimese. I have had the most wonderful, this is a fun conversation. I've learned
Aw.
so much as well as far as talking to you, sharing your insights and all of your leadership tips, and your cheat codes. And I know the audience will as well. And I hope that you guys walk away from this episode inspired and ready to take action. So, Altimese, if they want to learn more about you or talk to you, and even work with your agency, where can they find you?
So you can find me on all socials at Altimese Nichole, which is ALTIMESENICHOLE on all platforms except LinkedIn, because LinkedIn you got to use your last name, but that's neither here nor there. I'm Altimese Curry. Curry like Stephen Curry. Um, and if you are interested in working with the Ezer agency, we are the Ezer EZER agency everywhere. Feel free to reach out. I look forward to hearing from you. And Barika, thank you so much for this opportunity and this wonderful conversation.
Well, thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate you. You are my dynamic duo, and I am so happy that I have had the opportunity to stay in your life for so long. And you guys, if you love this conversation, please make sure that you subscribe to B3 LeadHers. We drop new episodes on the third Wednesday of every month. And don't forget to leave a comment. Make sure you follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. We are at B3 Media Solutions. And stay tuned for more inspiring stories from the top female minds in marketing, tech, and analytics. Until next time, keep leading boldly.